Hey, what's good? Game on, Wisconsin. Welcome back to another episode of Coast to Coast Packers. What lies ahead is what I'm calling this one today, and we got a lot to get into. But before that, how you doing today, Amar?
Look, Bernie, man, I want to first apologize to you after Friday night. I was a hot mess, bro. Let's just say I was in the Lions Den. I was in the city of Philadelphia with all of my Philadelphia friends, and um, I they were feeding me lots of beverages, and um, let's just say there was a lot of back and forth, me by myself and them on me. They recorded me on my rants that I had where I posted those, and I was not the most I was kind of colorful with my language because I was really drunk and pissed. Because, yeah. But all in all, man, I'm great now. I went back and watched the game again and with sober eyes, and I'm good, man. I'm good. I feel a lot better. Happy about the news that we received over the last couple of days. And how are you doing, man? How's your weekend? How'd you do?
Good, man. I just watched a lot of football, hung out with the family, did some chores around the house. Um, yeah, not too much. Little disappointed in the game, but I called it saying, Eagles would win 34-28. Now I don't want to be like, oh, I was saying
You were on
34-28,
there.
and it
You were
was
right, dude. You're so
34-29 or
close. Hey, yeah.
34-29. I was just like, and it just I felt like it was going to be a sloppy kind of game. But hey, before we get into that, got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Tundra Town Clothing Company. I'm rocking their Green Bay football, the tradition of excellence trucker hat, and then I got my Fear the Beer Brewer shirt. They're going to be playing tonight.
Nice.
They're out in San Francisco tonight playing the Giants. So
Okay.
they're actually out on the West Coast with me. So I get like a 6:45 start, which is like weird because that's like I'm thinking bedtime routine for my little guy at that time. That's usually not when the Brewers play. But I want to give you some more a look at our sponsor here. A little video that I spliced up here for you today. Here's a word from our sponsors.
Okay.
To our official sponsor, Tundra Town Clothing Company. And I'm going to open this bad boy right now.
I got one of the shirts on right here. It says, 13-time champion Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Hopefully, Joe over at Tundra Town will get a chance to reprint this one, but it'll say 14, baby. Always the number one pick. But this is a rad shirt, legendary. Oh, yeah. Green Bay, Wisconsin, Tundra struck. Green Bay football, tradition of excellence.
There it is.
Bears still suck. There it is. There's a trucker hat. Green Bay football, a tradition of excellence. Two different colors there. For your NL Central leading Milwaukee Brewers.
There you
Fear
go.
the Beer. Slugging and chugging. Milwaukee.
I'm not a Brewers fan, but I like that shirt.
Shirts are 100% cotton. They're locally printed in Green Bay, Wisconsin. All right, there it is. Look at some of our gear from our sponsor, Tundra Town Clothing Company. Go check them out at Tundra Town Clothing Co.etsy.com. Use our discount code Game On Wisconsin. Like I said, 100% cotton. These things are so comfortable.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. They fit good around the arms, man. They fit well. They just feel good against the body, man. They're perfect clothes to wear anywhere you go out. Just, with the weather kind of turning right now, it's a great time to get a shirt to have. You put a long sleeve up under it, and you can wear them. You wear them to bed. You can wear them out. You can wear them at the gym. You can do whatever you want, but you can always be representing Green Bay one way or another with Tundra Town.
Absolutely. And then they got the trucker hat, right? Usually I'm a fitted cap guy. The only time I don't wear fitted caps, luckily enough, are trucker hats. And so I'm rocking one of those. There's another one. It's a little different color scheme, same design though. But hey, let's just kind of take a moment here. Final reflections on Brazil. Let's put it to bed after this.
All right, you know what? It's funny you say that because I know the game, our post game video. I couldn't even complete sentences, and I think I was more heartbroken and distraught because we all saw what happened to Love, and we're thinking the worst, right? We're thinking ACL, we're thinking like season's over, we don't know what's going to happen, right? And I feel like at that time, you couldn't go back and really look at things objectively when it came to the team and when it came to the way they played. And going back and watching the game today, and just getting a breakdown of just like looking at it with, obviously a little bit more objectivity and, like I said, sober eyes. Yeah, I think that the Packers played a really good football game. I think defensively, they had turnovers. I think that if we capitalized not only on the turnovers, but on the 3 and outs that we did force Philadelphia to make. And, there were a couple interceptions that, we dropped. I mean, they did too. Now, don't get me wrong. We had a pick 6. Keyshawn Nixon had a pick 6, and then I think Jair could have had a 3 interception game. But again, I think all in all, we looked and saw that Packers team. Like, the conditions weren't that great. Both teams were dealing with them. I felt like at a certain point we were having more trouble with it than they were. I think, they got their cleats fixed and we just didn't. But I mean, 7 drops, I think, maybe 6 or 7 drops I counted. And I think seeing Jacobs really coming, like, I felt like he wasn't getting anything going. I looked at his stat line. I was like, damn, he actually got like, he got 80-something yards. And then I went back and looked at the second half. He was averaging almost 9 yards a carry, like 8.5. Right?
A couple runs were real nice.
Really good. And I'm just like, like Emmanuel Wilson was getting his yards the whole game.
He needed a few more carries.
I agree.
The other night,
I agree. Man. And you know what? That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like once they got whatever they figured out in the second half, the run game was working. Love was kind of connecting more. Jaden Reed played his butt off. Christian Watson came back with a good touchdown, but again, he had a couple drops. Wicks was completely off his game. Like, I don't know what was going on with Wicks, but he was off his game. Romeo was a little bit off. I mean, every one of those guys had a drop, which was like uncharacteristic of them. And I think like all in all, it was a game where even though like the defense looked like they gave up 34 points, I feel like that happened was because our offense really couldn't, they couldn't make the best of the situation that the defense was giving them, right? The 2 turnovers, the 3 and outs, and then the missed field goal. And look, I want to tell everybody right now, I understand that, Narvison missed that field goal, right? It was a 43-yarder. I get it. You know what? But every single one of his extra points is down the pipe. And he hit the, he was 3 of 4. I get that. He missed that one. But like, I felt a hell of a lot more confident with him being out there kicking the field goals than I ever did with Carson. And I know he still missed one, but he was able to come back and make it. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, he didn't like, it didn't compound, right? He didn't come out and miss a second one, like he missed one, then he had opportunity to make up for it, and he did. So, and I liked how Coach LaFleur said today where he put the Keyshawn coming out on that last kickoff. He goes, that's on me. And he goes, that's not going to happen again. He's right.
Yeah.
Like 7 yards in, having to jump to catch the ball.
Yeah.
And trying to take it out. I love Keyshawn. I love his energy. But like, man, like, you got to give your offense as much time to play. And I was watching that game last day, when I was watching that game, I just felt like, if the offense was able to capitalize a little bit more, then we would be having a different conversation right now. What did you think? How did you feel about it after reflecting on it?
Well, the Keyshawn thing, that kind of like, man, what a bad
I know.
Bring that out. I get it. You're looking for the explosive play. But that's if he catches it running forward or catches it out of the end zone, cool. But like, you're like running to your side, kind of jumping back and up to get the ball, and I just like your momentum's not going forward. It's going to take you longer to get your speed up. And he got to like the 15, right? If he takes a knee there, the new rule states the 30.
Yeah, I know. That I was thinking the same thing. I'm like.
Because then a 33-yard, right? The next play was a 33-yard pass play to Reed, right?
Yes.
You're at the 30, and it puts you on, 33 yards. What's that? Now you're at the 37-yard line of the other team. Like, holy shit! Like, now
you are right there, dude. You're
within range of putting one up in the end zone.
And you had time. Like, you had enough time on the clock to make a few more plays to get down there, right? And you needed a touchdown, but still, though.
Some clock management, too. I felt like we burned through some timeouts there in the first half. That was just like, geez, man. Like, we've been preparing for this game all off season, and let
me ask you about that. That was something that bothered me, too. It's like every time I was watching, I was like, they would, get a play, and then it was like, I felt like they weren't getting the clock up to, it was like 25 seconds, right? It felt like it was less, or they weren't getting the 40. And I didn't get it, but man, it's just like there's so many times either took them too long to get prepared, they had to call a timeout, delay of game, whatever, right? And it was just, it just felt very disjointed, unprepared. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it kind of felt like a little bit of what happened at the beginning of the season last year, but there was more production, and you basically saw what you saw at the end of the year a lot more than you did. And I'm saying that wrong, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we were used to seeing of Jordan Love. You saw more of that sooner, but there was these, like, I felt like Musgrave didn't play a good game. And I'm a big Musgrave. I mean, I'm a Target Craft guy, but I like Musgrave too, but I just didn't think he played a good game.
Yeah.
Personally. So.
Let's my little final thoughts of the reflection though. I just want to say, like, look, let's not take anything away from the Eagles as well. Barkley 100%. Is amazing. Like, right. Hurts and the Eagles that were in the Super Bowl not that long ago.
Exactly.
They started off 10-1 last year, I think it was, before they just completely fell apart. This was a quality opponent. I picked 4 teams I thought that could represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. And it was Eagles, Niners, Lions, Packers. Those are the 4 that I picked at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
So, hey, we're starting off our season with what I think, I'm not the only one, which many people probably think are a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
So we'll move on here, but we'll look at the comment section here. Disappointed that the defense could not make any stops to save time at the end of the game. Absolutely. And then that bullshit holding call on Kenny Walker. Get out of here.
Dude, that one pissed me off. Like, that, they have a video of me. That's one of my videos where I just couldn't believe that they called a defensive holding penalty on Kenny Clark, who was engaged with Saquon, who was blocking, then acted like he was trying to go out for a route. And I don't know, man. Like, rewatching the game. I'm not trying to call the refs or whatever, but like Tolbert's and his crew are just really they're garbage, man. Like, there was like, there was 17 penalties. Packers had 10, they had 7. But the things that we were called on were drive extenders, right? Yeah. Like, for the fact that we didn't get hit, like he didn't get hit with an intentional grounding penalty on that one play.
Oh,
that one is still eating my cross.
What was it? What did he say?
He was saying that when he got tackled, that his arm was hit. So technically, if his arm was hit, then they're saying that it's interference by the defense, like almost like the defense hit the ball or something, right? I still don't get that. I'm like, he didn't get the ball to the line of scrimmage. He did not get – there was no receiver in the vicinity. Yeah. Lost it down, 10-yard penalty. That's what it always is. Like, and the fact that you were calling ticky-tacky for everything else, you don't call it that? Like, that you don't do that? And then they finally started calling some PI on them because in the beginning of the game, like, there was like, Quinton Mitchell was getting away with murder. And I'm like, dude, like, when he got that one on Watson in the end zone, I'm like, dude, you couldn't keep up with him. You were grabbing his jersey and everything. And like, I just, like I said, you don't want to blame the refs, but it just, when you go back and watch it, that Kenny Clark one really pissed me off because that was second or third down, and that gave them a first down.
Yeah.
And they extended the drive for them to go and kick a field goal, right?
Yeah, I thought, wasn't there 2 penalties on that drive?
Yes, there's also Jair's too, I think, which is also BS because Devontae fell and grabbed him, not the other way around. Yeah. Like, the one that got me too was like when they got the Jalen Carter offsides and then LaFleur decided to go for it, right? Yeah. And time again, they kept trying to run it up the middle. And I'm like, that's where the beef of their defense is. I just felt like they should have – and they did kind of do a little bit of both after a while when they fixed their blocking. But there was just a lot of times where I'm just like, man, like, this is some miscues, man. It was just a lot of miscues. And but it was all fixable stuff. Like, it's mistakes that you're not like, oh, my God, this team sucks. Like, it was like more like, okay, first game of the season. A lot of people say it's like a preseason game, basically, even though it's a real game, right? And, yeah, here we are. Like, now we have to really focus on next week. And, is Willis starting? Is Jordan starting? Probably 80-20 Willis, right? But still crazy to me.
So let's roll into that. Like, let's talk about Love's injury.
Yep.
And how it's and maybe some uplifting news that we got today on it.
Yes.
And then we will roll, like, after we talk about the injury here a little bit, then we'll roll into what this team needs to do. To keep the team's goals and season dreams alive, as we talk about this. But any initial thought? What were your initial thoughts? Okay, let's start there. Knee-jerk reaction. Love goes down.
Dude, when Love went down, and I kept saying every single replay, I'm talking about replays by people online, then you got the replays that are being showed on TV, and you just see the knee push in, and then the knee, like the kneecap almost pop out and pop back in.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is bad, right? Either high ankle sprain, torn this, torn that. And then, like, all the Twitter doctors are like, hey, very rarely does a person tear their ACL with a contact injury. It's normally non-contact, right?
Yeah.
But that kind of made me feel a little bit better. But I'm just saying just the amount of torque and force that he was kind of hit. Not saying like, I'm not calling Jalen Carter dirty. I'm not saying that at all. I just felt like the way it happened, you have this 300-pound dude just like on your leg, bringing you down and twisting your leg in a way, right? Where I'm just like, damn, like that's not good. And I think it was just like, man, I'm special season. I think we have everything right in front of us. And here, our first week of the season, our quarterback goes down, and we don't know, what's going on. And he's also in Brazil, so he can't get an MRI done right away.
Dude. Oh yeah, what kind of bullshit is that? It's not to go back to that game, but who was it? True North Pecker Sand said, "Dear NFL, no more 10-hour flights."
Yes,
and let's just like, if you don't have the facilities to figure out what the fuck's going on with our $250 million athlete in a multi-billion-dollar industry, stay the fuck home. Okay,
Thank you. Not just that though, like even like where they stayed, like the Eagles stayed like 20 minutes from the stadium. The Packers stayed 3 hours away from the stadium or something stupid. Logistically, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's just, I don't understand. I didn't get it at all. The whole thing was just dumb to me. And I'm all about, the international crowds getting the games and them enjoying it, but it can't be at the detriment of our players. Yeah. It can't be at the detriment of the game, which unfortunately, I understand that the material that's used at this stadium is the same as the stuff they used at Lincoln Financial and Lambeau Field. The difference is though, the groundskeepers for those stadiums have been working with 300 and 350 pound players for all their career, right? So they know how to treat that grass so it doesn't get ripped up like it did for the majority of that game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it just wasn't a good product. And I felt like the game was suffered on both sides. Both Philly and Green Bay couldn't really get into it, Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. They're not 5'9", 160 pound South American professional soccer players running around. They're 6'6", 300 pounders. Some of these guys.
Yeah, like I mean, the smallest soccer player, the biggest soccer player is probably the smallest football player, NFL football player, right? Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing here? So I don't know. I'm with you, man. Like, Love's injury. If you go look up MCL sprain, so then you find, we got that knee jerk reaction, right?
Yeah.
I got no sleep that night because I kept going to my phone to see if the ESPN update would come up, something sleeper would come up and say, worst case scenario, right?
Yeah.
And then the whole next day I was refreshing. And then basically one came out, said no ACL. I'm like, thank God. Someone said ankle ruled out. Thank God. Then I'm like, okay, what is it, right? So it's probably MCL, but until they landed and then go to get MRI, and then boom, MCL. I'm like, thank the gods. Because I was like, you can get back from MCL. That's not a big deal.
You can.
Yeah. MCL is definitely fixable. And then you started getting the good news, right? Yeah. Well, before we go there, what was your knee-jerk reaction? Like, how did you feel about it?
Okay, so when I first saw him go down, he looked in a little bit of pain.
Yeah.
I already went to some of my my cramping, because we've talked about how we saw him with the massage gun and the calves on the sideline, and I personally have been like camping after like backpacking, right? And I've gone on a long and like woke up in the middle of the night with a cramp so painful that I'm like, expressing vocally that I'm in pain. Yeah. So I was just like, oh man, I hope he's just really cramping up. Well, then they finally showed a replay of the angle of him getting hit, and I'm like, oh shit, that looks bad.
Yeah.
Of course, when they showed the slow motion thing after the game, and then you could see the little pop, a little twitch there in his knee, and everyone's like, oh, it popped, season's over. I'm like, fucking Dr. Clowns, just all over the internet. And I'm like, man, I am not saying anything. And then when you hear that he had to like hobble onto the plane, and we're not learning thing until they fly 10 hours home to get into the team's facilities. I'm like, for real? We didn't have that set up. That type, you didn't take that into a contact sport like this. Like to have all that shit together, like say if there is a bad injury, do we have all the things we need? You thought the NFL would have learned. You would have learned when you had to resuscitate a player on the field in a game.
Seriously.
To have everything medically prepared for any type of injury. But who knows? Maybe they did have it and they gave him a choice, and Love was like, "Fuck it, let's go home. I want to get out of here." Well, because I saw Nagler the next morning. I don't want to be in Brazil anymore. He tweeted the day after the game. I saw Nagler post that, and I was laughing, man. I
don't blame him, bro.
Dude. And I know, knowing, getting the chance to get to have Nagler on our show and knowing him a little bit, I thought to myself, like, he doesn't even give a shit that we lost the game. Knowing Nagler, he's just like, it's the whole Brazil, it's the whole Love thing. Just want to, like, yeah. That's my reaction over it all. And now my knee-jerk reaction is we might get him back sooner.
It's funny you say that too, because with like the loss, I didn't care about the loss. I cared about him, like Love, like, okay, what's going on with you, man? Because that's more important. Like, you can win, lose a game, no big deal. But like having to lose your quarterback for the whole year or 6 months or for half a season, it sucks. You're done, right? But every little glimmer of hope I held on to, like it was a life raft. Like no joke, like when they were like, "Oh, Rodgers," Matt Steinman says Rodgers walked out of the stadium on his own accord. Rodgers, wow. Damn, last call Lambeau. I'll be.
Well, I know Rodgers just started 10 minutes ago, though. I think so.
I had the game playing over to the left of me here right now. So, no, but no joke. Like Love walked out on his own, with a barely noticeable limp, and then when he lands in Green Bay, he's walking down the stairs on his own, no crutches, holding his luggage, and I'm like, okay, if this guy was really messed up, ain't no way in hell he would have been walking down with his luggage and stuff, dog. Like, ain't no way.
Yeah.
Just ain't no way, right? So I'm like, ain't no way that. So I'm thinking like, nah, I don't think this good. He's okay. He's okay, right?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, I'm just like, okay, hold on. Then it's like MCL. Then it's like, okay, it's the timeline, right? It's like 3 to 6 weeks. So I'm like, 3 to 6 weeks, that's not that bad. That's like, grade 1, grade 2, right? Because grade 3 is like 6 to 8 weeks. Then they're thinking he'll be back sooner than later. So I'm like, okay, this is probably more like 3 weeks. That means like probably grade 1, grade 2 again, but on the better side, right? Then like we hear LaFleur's press conference, which I've been waiting for all damn day today. And I'm just like, wait a minute, hold on. I was like, he goes, if Jordan isn't cleared, Malik will get the start and Clifford will back him up. And I'm like, say what now? If he isn't cleared. So now I don't know if LaFleur is doing this to make the Colts prepared for both quarterbacks. He could be. But if it's an MCL sprain, and if everybody wants to get like some like crazy like analysis from a medical standpoint, even though he's not a doctor, this guy Carlos Silva, he's on Twitter, he's amazing. He posted like a breakdown of like when Love got hurt, and if it's a grade 1 sprain, they say it's about a week to 10 days, and that from Friday to Sunday would be 9.5 days. So technically, if it's a grade 1, he could come back for that game, right? The fact they didn't put him on IR, which is a mandatory 4 weeks before he can return, tells you it's not a 4-week injury. Because if they were going to be conservative with them, then they would have put him on IR if they had any fears whatsoever, right? And I truly do believe that it's going to be like a 2 to 3 week range. And honestly, he's probably going to be trying everything in his power to get out there on that field. I just don't see him being the kind of cat that's like, okay, I'll wait. No, I think like for everything he's been through, everything he's earned, all that kind of stuff. And I agree with Soder. Like, McKenzie and all of them are very like conservative when it comes to these kind of things. But on the same hand too, though, you have to trust the player too, to a degree. Like if you know, based on what he has as an injury, he can't make it worse, right? And that if he braces it up will be the best protection for him. And if he's like, hey, look, I can play, I can do this, then I'm thinking like, how do you tell him no, right? I mean, you just paid him $55 million. So it's a double-edged sword. It's like, okay, we just paid you $55 million. We don't want to lose you for the year. But we just paid you $55 million, so you're the most important player on our team. So it's like, weighing his word importance to like possible injury. But I'm like, you know what? He could, and I ain't even saying. Let's just say shit could happen to any player at any time, regardless of them on the field or not.
Yeah.
So if there's no chances of him, and another thing too is Rodgers was out there with a broken knee. Like he literally had a broken tibia fracture.
Yeah.
And he played on that for 2018. Now, did he play great? No, I agree. But this isn't like that. This isn't even close to that. And he was able to get on the field. So I'm just saying, like, hey, if that's the case, if he's an MCL sprain and he's ready to go and you can make it happen, do it. If not, hey, Malik Willis is the man. Let's go.
Yeah. Before we move forward, I just want to jump in the comment section again. True North Packers fan. If there's one thing I know about the NFL, they care about the health and safety of our players. Hashtag sarcasm.
That's true, though. That's true.
We all know the Packers won't rush him. But here's the thing, Soder. It's funny because it's like it seems like with other players they don't rush it, but with their quarterbacks they've just kind of let them decide on their own, make the decision on their own.
Yeah. So we just talked about it pre-show. We were talking about how Rodgers had a broken thumb on his throwing hand.
Yeah.
Did he miss any games? No. Should he have missed 2-3 games? Probably. But did they? No. And he's like, nah, I'm playing. Whatever. You tell me that Jordan's not going to be like, yo, my knee hurts, but you brace it up. If I can show that I can play. The thing is, it's not about just like injury-wise, like can he play well, right?
Yeah.
If he can play, what are we doing now? Like, what are we, like NFL, everyone gets hurt. The question is, who's willing to pay through it's about pain tolerance too, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. So, hey, brace him up. Let's go, baby.
Yeah. Here's my last thing about his injury before we'll get it talking about this offense.
Yeah.
With Love's injury, if how you're saying, if you're like, oh, he could possibly be ready for that next game, we think he might be ready. But if you're like, we know he'll be ready if he sits one more week and ready for that Titans game. Yeah. Here's the thing. I had to go do some research myself. An article that was written last September. Yeah. Of the 407 teams that have started 0-2, so if we just let him rest and we go 0-2, 39 of those teams have made the playoffs. So it's almost 10% of those teams have made the playoffs. Yeah. I feel like we would be a team that would make a really strong case. 0-2 with no Love in that second game, whatever. I think we can make a run. Yeah. What I'm worried about was right when it first came out and it said 3 to 6 weeks. And I'm like, he might miss 3 games. I went and looked it up and there was since the merger or whatever, 103 teams have started 0-4 and only the 1992 San Diego Chargers have come back to make the playoffs. So it's like, we just got to avoid 0-4 in my opinion.
I agree.
0-2 does not scare me.
No, it's not as bad as it used to be. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Soder's right. Bernie had told me this previously.
Yeah. The 192, San Diego Chargers. And look at this. They went 11-5. So they started out they went 11 and started 0-4, then went 11-1.
That's pretty damn good, man. And it's funny too, because this time of the season right now where our schedule is, it's kind of not saying the easier part of the schedule, but it's not it's as difficult, right? So you kind of want them to get at least a win, at least one win, maybe 2 would be pushing it. But we saw the Colts last night. We saw the Colts yesterday. They look good, but they didn't look fearsome, right? Anthony Richardson was 9 for 19. Yeah, he had 200 some damn yards because he has a howitzer of an arm that can freaking hit the backside of a barn that has a target the size of my hand on it. It's insane his accuracy and his strength. But on the same hand too, though, it's not like he's consistent, right? And then when it comes to the Titans kind of showed you what they were about. They had a 3-score lead up on the Bears, and they just basically gave that game away. And then Will Levis looked pretty bad at the back end of that game, right? So I'm with you, man. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for them to try to see what Willis can do, if Willis is going to be the guy. Yeah. And I think that's our next segment, right? Let's talk about the offense.
Let's talk about that. Yeah. We're going to – I feel I like LaFleur's statement. It gives me hope, but I think we're going to see Willis this weekend.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Speaking about this weekend and maybe another game or two after that, what does Malik Willis and this offense need to do to maybe snag a game here?
I think they need to do what they should have done back in 2022, which is when Rodgers broke his thumb, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon should have had 20 carries, 20 touches each. They should have been running the shit out of the ball. It should have been like Amon Green all over again, right? Back in like what, 1999 or was it 2001 when Favre broke his thumb, right?
Yeah.
I think like if Malik Willis is out there, I'm not saying, I mean, Malik can play. He's just, he's had, I felt like not the greatest coaching staff around him to get him ready for the games, right? So in his defense, I kind of feel like, all right, we should be, I think we feature Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson. If Marshawn Lloyd comes back, he's in there too. And we run that three-headed monster and we RPO the heck out of them. Because you just saw Joe Mixon go for like 130 yards on that team just now. Yeah. And not only did they do that, but CJ Stroud had a pretty good game too. They basically had their way with that defense, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they're going to try to do the same thing. They're going to try to make Malik beat them, right? They're going to like stuff the box, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, what kills me is LaFleur comes from a running background, but he gets away from the run way too often. Like he wants to go out there, he wants to throw it all over the yard. I think he needs to take a step back. I think he needs to really focus on running the ball consistently, running play action, and letting Malik use his legs. Like, change up the playbook a little bit, go RPO, have it, do quarterback option. I don't care. Whatever it takes, but like just run the ball and play really, really good defense. I think like that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like, last thing, even if you don't like score points, just making sure your offense is getting like 8 to 12 play drives, unless you're kicking field goals or you're punting the ball and you're nailing them into the 5-yard line, because what you're doing now is you're giving your defense time to rest.
Absolutely.
Right. You can't keep going 3 and out, and you got to take time off the clock to give your defense time to recuperate. Because I think that's why they lost. People are saying, they wish they made a stop in the fourth quarter. Yeah, but I mean, the number of plays that they were seeing at the back end of that game, they're gassed. They were just like the Rams last night. The Rams were gassed by the time they went to overtime. They couldn't do anything on defense.
Yeah.
It was the same thing.
Yeah, this offense, right? You're so right with Malik Willis. What are his strongest throws? We need to get him in those, like when it's throwing situation. What are his best plays? Otherwise, Jacobs has got to have 20 plus. He had 16
easily
20 easy. Like exactly. He should. I wouldn't be surprised if he had 15 at half. Wilson only had 4 carries, but he went for 46 yards.
Yes.
11 and a half yards a carry. I don't expect that to continue.
No.
But he needs 10 plus carries this next game. Expect Jaden Reed to get another carry. Maybe another wide receiver gets a carry as well. Just get creative. Willis, drop maybe a few running plays, drawn up for the quarterback. It's just don't turn the ball over. That's all I ask for, right?
Play smart football, man. Just get first downs. I don't even care what you do. But my thing I noticed about Jacobs was like he's the dude that just needs to keep getting the ball. Like you don't have to be timid with him like you were with Jones, where Jones is like, even when he was in Minnesota just now, he got 19 carries. Okay. You need to make sure Jacobs has 20 to 25 carries a game, because he is a workhorse back. And I saw him in that fourth quarter, dude, he was eating them up. They didn't have an answer for him, man. They did not have an answer for him. And the Colts defense is still run by Gus Bradley, I believe, and you can run on. He still runs like a very old school Legion of Boom cover 3 defense. Like you can run on that all day, but you got to be committed to the run. You got to keep doing it, right?
Yeah.
And Malik has made some big time throws in the NFL, And they always say that this scheme is made for quarterbacks, right? They just need to just go and just do what the offense says, and it's very telling to know that Clifford has been in this system for a year and a half now, right?
Yeah.
And Malik has been in the system for a week and a half. And they felt more comfortable saying like, hey, we feel like Malik can do a better job than Clifford can. So what does that say? Right? Like that tells you like, you know what I'm saying? Like it just gives you a little bit more hope and like, he has already God-given talent. He just needs to learn how to learn the offense the way it is. But I'm a little excited if Malik is out there. I want to see what happens. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be different. You know,
it's preseason game number 5.
It is. And then the funny thing too is like last year, basically the whole season we had no expectations, right? And then when we had the playoff hopes, like, oh man, but you're still thinking like, if it don't happen, it don't happen. We weren't supposed to be here anyways, right? But then like now it's like I have no expectations about next week's game. So if we win, that's cherry on top. If we lose, then okay, that was expected anyways, right?
Yeah.
But man, like if Malik can pull out a win, I'm telling you right now. Who's after that? Tennessee. Defense looked good. Offense was okay.
Yeah.
And then Minnesota. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, they blew the brakes off freaking Giants, but the Giants are not a good football team.
The Giants are a terrible football
team. And you know what?
The Giants haven't scored a touchdown in either of their last openers.
Seriously.
Last year, I think it was the same thing. They had a couple of field goals, and they got blown out last year. But I got to look now with their last, like, dude. And that was after they made that playoff run.
Yes. And what kills me, too, is, like, you have this team that, like, sat here and, like, you have this team that like went and Daniel Jones, like the defense actually made some plays. Like they forced interceptions and fumbles on the Vikings, right? But the offense couldn't get anything going. And I was like, if that's what you got, dude, Minnesota look a lot better than what they had. And they play San Fran. They play San Fran next week, right? So I'm just saying, like, I'm telling you, like, dude, we come out this joint somehow 2-1 or 3-1. Please, boy. Say less. Say less.
Hey. Last year in the season opener, the Giants lost to the Cowboys 40-0.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that.
So 68-6 in their last 2 season openers.
Sheesh.
Sorry for the New York Football Giants. But anyways, I'm not intimidated by the Vikings one bit.
No.
The Titans, right? Solid defense. Their offense, I'm not that worried about. So I think Malik Willis, if he could go down and play a smart game in Tennessee, how crazy would that be? Say I think at this point now I'm starting to think the most that Love misses is 3 games. So there's a chance he misses, so he'll be coming back after the Vikings game. I have faith that this team could beat the Titans and the Vikings without Jordan Love. We could be 2-2 without Jordan Love. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think there's an outside chance it could.
There's hope, man. That's the thing. Like, there's hope. Yeah. Like, I truly do believe that, like, you don't know what you're going to get with the Colts, and the Colts are coming to Green Bay. We don't play well in Indy, but we've gotten them before in Green Bay, right?
Yeah.
Tennessee, we're going to Tennessee. That we've never really fared well there. So, and then it's a revenge game for Malik. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I kind of feel like Jordan might be back for that game, but let's say he's not, right?
Yeah.
Minnesota game in Green Bay. Yeah, like I think Jordan wants that game. Right. Honestly, like I'm telling you, I'm going to be very, very surprised with how many games he truly does miss. Honestly. Yeah, like I don't see it being the full 3 weeks. I see it being like maybe 2 weeks. I don't see him resting any longer than he needs to.
I don't think so either. He's gonna come back.
I get what you're saying though. You make a good point where, like, if they win this next game, let's say, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, well, Jordan, hey, look, bro, can you just come back from Minnesota? Well, because that's a division game. Right?
Yeah.
We'll take care of these 2 games that are AFC outside of our division, don't have an impact on our playoff sitting, minus win-loss, right? But other than that, the strength of schedule, all that kind of stuff is not as impactful as a divisional game is.
Yeah.
Can we get you 100% for that? Now, if he's like, yo, I'm good now, let's go. Because that's another thing. Your backup quarterback starts winning games, you start questioning yourself a little bit. Hey, Rodgers said it, Brett Favre said it. They both said, hey, look.
Yeah.
We did.
That's got more to do with their ego. I think that's got more to do with their ego. I don't know if Jordan Love.
I agree. I don't think Jordan's like that. I don't. I agree. Jordan's definitely not like that. Yeah, he's not built that way for sure.
Yeah. But so we're feeling confident. We won't. This offense won't be loveless for long.
No, definitely not.
But say there is a game or two without Love, right? He's the type of player, and I think this is probably for the quarterback, the starting quarterback for every NFL team. When they're out, it impacts your entire team.
Yeah.
So what do we need? What do we need from this defense? I got to fix that thing.
You good. Look, so defensively, I need to see more of Edgerrin Cooper over Eric Wilson and Isaiah McDuffie. I think I'm done with Isaiah McDuffie. I'm done with I'm done with Eric Wilson on defense. Okay. I need to see your boy, Tyron Hopper. I need to see Tyron Hopper in the middle as a middle linebacker. I need Quay on weak side. I don't think we need Quay at middle linebacker anymore. I think we've shown that project is just not going to work. And he was taking so many bad gaps and angles. And the thing is, I think he's a good football player. He's physically gifted. He has shown that he can play the position, but he's second guessing himself to the point to where like he is taking himself completely out of plays when he has opportunity to make the play, right?
Yeah.
And every snap Edgerrin Cooper had, he was just around the ball and he was making plays. And thing with Tyron Harper is like you don't see, even though like he may not be great in coverage, he doesn't really make those kinds of mistakes when it comes to run defense. Like he comes in and I think like Peter Dougherty and Eric Branchek were talking about on their show. Yeah. Where like the way Hopper hits people is like Desmond Bishop from back in the day.
All right.
Like he comes in, just sticks them, right? And on run defense, you need that, You need someone that's going to fill that gap and make the tackle. Like Quay they basically figured it out. Like if you run directly at Quay, he's not going to make the play. And that's not going to work. Secondary wise, I think like I said, Jair had his moments. Jair, like he got burned on a play or two. I felt like he did, they were allowing the Eagles, they were allowing AJ Brown to be very physical, but they weren't calling it both ways kind of thing, right? And there was a lot of OPI that was going on that they weren't calling. I'm just saying that's just from that last game. There's so many damn like illegal formations and holdings that they were calling on us every time we had a score or we got a big chunk play. And I'm just like, come on, this is ridiculous here.
Yeah.
And I did like what I saw from Xavier McKinney. I think Bullard really played well, but there was something about this defense that people were talking about that was going to be an Achilles, which was the crossers. Like there's a lot of crossers that like basically the way they play man and they play like, a lot of natural pick plays occur. Yeah. So that's the only thing that worries me because the receivers that the Colts have with Pittman, Alec Pierce, Adonai Mitchell's no damn joke. And they got the other kid doodling. I'm telling you, they got really good receivers. And then you cannot forget about Jonathan Taylor.
Absolutely.
Like, he can break open a game like you believe. So from our defense, I just need if people are not performing like they should be performing, they shouldn't be starting. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
That I'm done. Like if you can't do your assignment properly, you're out. And then get somebody else in there and see what they can do.
Yeah. Do you think Hafley has that mentality? Do you think he has that ability to yank a starter out of the game? And
I think if they want him to be able to be a true defense coordinator with the right power, then yes, he should be able to. It shouldn't be up to Goody. It shouldn't be up to LaFleur. It should be up to him as the head, as the defense coordinator. Like, hey, look, Quay's not getting it done. We're putting him at weak side. We're going to put Hopper in the middle, and we're going to put Cooper on the other side, and away we go.
Yeah.
Boom, done.
I'm okay with that, man, because the pass rush, did not impress me. But he Soder said here, second week of mobile quarterback will most likely mean we will not see much of a pass rush.
I agree.
Secondary needs to be on point. And it's very much right. And I think that's why we didn't go crazy with the blitz because Hurts escapes that blitz and then he's just killing you on the ground. But you hope that one of your guys in the middle can start winning a little more often.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping to see. Hopefully not get called for defensive holding in the defensive line again.
Seriously, man. That just and that one still gets at me. So I'm just like, I just couldn't believe it, dude. I was like, you could call it on anybody else, but call it on Kenny Clark, dog. Like, get your ass out. You guys had 3 people blocking him at one point, and they were holding on to him for dear life. You don't want to call that, but you want to call that BS? A defensive hold on a defensive tackle? Get your ass out of here, dog.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life.
So the thing, I think my big emphasis on what do we need from the defense while Love is not here to give us a chance to win. It's just we got to keep making those turnovers, just like we did down in Brazil.
Yeah.
We gave ourselves a short field numerous times, and we kicked some field goals. One touchdown, just one of those is a touchdown. We're looking at a completely different game.
Dude, you're 100% spot on, dude.
Yeah.
We make the 2-point conversion. That's one thing, right? And then we kick the field goal, completely different game, right? And then on top of that too, if you are up 17-0 or you're up 21-0 on that Philadelphia team, they're not running the ball anymore.
Exactly.
They're one-dimensional. They're throwing the ball. They're trying to get back in the game, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, your team's at all-time high confidence too. So they're feeling good about themselves. They're probably not making the mistakes they're making because they're up. They're feeling themselves in a good way.
Yeah.
I felt like because the game was so close, the pressure got on them more than it needed to be.
Yeah. You score one of those touchdowns and one of those first 2 turnovers.
Yes.
You don't go for 2. You're not in that situation.
Exactly.
Go for
you don't
2.
even care at that point.
You end up taking the one later on in the game. Defense, keep forcing those turnovers. Offense, you got to cash in.
Yeah.
We talked about Narveson a little bit, right? He missed that 43-yarder. So without Love, potentially for a game or 2, maybe 3, but I think 2 at most now. We got to have extra special teams. So any thoughts or feelings about how the special teams has got to perform when Love is gone?
I think Naverson needs to really just lock in. I need him to have a perfect game just so that we can get that off our back, right? And he can get off his back too, right? Mm-hmm. I think Whelan had a pretty good game. He was playing the shit out of the ball. I think he did great. Our pump block was maybe inches away from blocking a couple punts. So I was happy about that. I do think that Jaden Reed probably needs to be the punt returner and even possibly the kick returner. I think he should be allowed to take back a couple too, if he can, right?
What about Marshawn Lloyd? I've always heard
he's healthy. Him I put him back there. Yeah.
Is he ready?
Keyshawn, you're paying him to be your nickel corner and you're paying him to be your all-pro returner. He just needs to know that, as good as he is, he needs to always just play smart football. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
You can't take it out when you already got limited time. It was when he took that ball out, it reminded me of Ty Montgomery and against the Rams in 2018? Against the Rams when he took the ball out and he fumbled it and that was game over. Yeah. That was it for me. I was like, dude, what the hell was that? He was told not to take it out. They told us not to take it out. He still did. I'm just like, oh my gosh, you got to be joking me, dude. So that's one of those things where it's coach addressed it and he said that, hey, I'm not going to let that happen again. I trust him. I believe him. And but you know what though? What was there saying? Peter Bukowski posted something about how they had a counter to the kickoff rule, right? Where some team, I think Tennessee or something, did something with the kickoff where they got the ball and they pitched it or something. Yeah. And they got a really big return, right? And Bukowski's you're paying this dude to be your highest paid, assistant as your special teams coordinator, and he's not doing anything different when it comes to these kind of new rules. And I think that's a good point. You just keep it status quo. And I was like, you know what? Status quo ain't been working, dog. You need to figure out new ways to make special teams, as Soder says, make it extra special. Because it ain't extra special right now.
You know what they say is true. Sometimes you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Some of these guys, man, it seems like they don't progress. And that was my major criticism with McCarthy when he was here, right? All right, man, show me something different. Everyone knows what you're gonna do. So that's with Bisaccia right now. It's all right, man, show us something. But for the special teams and games that Love doesn't play, right? Narveson's got to be perfect on extra points and field goal attempts. And Whalen's got to just got to keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then as a return game, if we think we're going to beat the Colts, we got to have some big returns. We got to have a blocked field goal or a blocked punt or something. We need some big special teams plays, I think, if we're going to beat the Colts. I think
completely agree.
Colts. If Love was here, I'd say we win this game. This one, I don't have a good feeling about, but we're going to get a lot of Malik. We're going to get a lot of experience with him. I feel good if Malik goes down to Tennessee for some reason. I like the narrative. By then,
yeah, that'd be a good story. It'd be an awesome story. Yeah. And then the fact that Will Levis isn't playing good, it would be even funnier. Like if he comes in and beats them, and be like, y'all had me, y'all let me go. Y'all wrote me off, and I ain't right back.
and I think it's like that quarterback switcheroo kind of thing like that. Think about right now about Baker and Deshaun Watson. That's a big thing that's going on right now. You shucked Baker to the side.
Yep.
And
Baker's
crazy playing better Deshaun Watson right now.
You know what? I didn't agree with that at all. Because like Baker Mayfield took that team to a divisional playoffs the year the Chiefs won, I think. No, Chiefs. They played the Chiefs in the divisional playoffs, and they were literally one play away from winning that game.
Yeah.
And that was because of Baker. And I'm thinking, like, dude, like, what the hell happened? Like, that's it. Like, and then y'all cut him loose. And then Baker had a moment, man. He was with Carolina. He was with the Rams. He was everywhere, right? And then ends up in Tampa, and he killed it. Like, I understand Washington's not a good football team. But man, that was good. 4 touchdowns. Yeah, he picked it up right where he left off from last year. I was impressed.
So we have some other guys. I know we've been talking a lot about Love tonight. Love this, love that. What are we gonna do without Love and with Love? Let's talk about some other guys here, and let's talk about let's just talk about rookies in general. The rookie impact, right? We had a lot of rookies see time, meaningful snaps this first game. What's the impact they had on the game? Thoughts and feelings on that?
You know what? I felt like Javon Bullard is a dog. I mean, A.J. Brown tried to come up and do a run block on him, and Bullard stuck the hell out, knocked the wind right out of his ass.
Yeah.
Put him off the sideline and everything, right? Bullard can play. I think Bullard's going to be he's definitely going to be your starting safety. I would love to see him at slot eventually. I would love to see Keyshawn not playing full-time slot. If anything, I would love to see him on blitz packages only, because when he's blitzing, he's amazing.
Yeah.
In coverage, he's so-so, honestly. If he had taken that one pick to the house, I would be talking something else. But then there is, of course, I didn't see Evan Williams out there much, so that was a little disappointing. Jordan Morgan had some moments, but then again, he was kind of in and out, and the footing for the offensive lineman was just terrible. And so he did the best he could, but I felt like he has moments. But Edgerrin Cooper, man, Edgerrin Cooper had limited snaps. The concern was the fact that he missed a lot of training camps, so they've been kind of limiting his playing. But I said the hell with that. Like, even the coach said that today too. He goes, he was downhill, he was impactful, he was all over the place. They were like, dude, he goes, going forward, he's gonna be getting more snaps. I'm like, thank freaking God, because you draft that kid in the second round, and before he got hurt, they were glowing reports about him. And I find a way to get him on the field. I mean, I just think that. This is a good rookie class, and the only way these kids are going to get better. It's something that Peter Downey said too. He goes, "You play them now so they can be better on the back end of the season. They get them experience now." I agree with that completely, 100%. That you get them experience now, let them learn, let them get their bumps. But guess what? End of the day, it's just going to be learning lessons for them, and it'll be them to sink or swim. And I think the guys they got, they're going to swim.
That's good to know. We'll probably see more Evan Williams out there as the season goes on. We saw a lot of good things and heard a lot of good things from training camp and preseason with him. And you got to remember, he's a guy that went Fresno State. He only spent, I think, 1 year at Oregon. Now he's at the pro level. He's been a baller at every level he's played. I think this step might just take him a little longer to acclimate to. As for Bullard, right? I watched that replay. Someone posted that 6-second play of Brown trying to go get Bullard. And it's funny because it's typically you see the veteran safety putting down the rookie wide receiver, and it's that welcome to the NFL moment. But Brown's the veteran, and he went to try to go get the rookie safety, and the rookie safety put the hammer down, and
A.J. Brown's not a small dude. He's a thick dude, man.
30, yeah, he's
he's a pretty muscular, strong ass dude. That's why I'm like, damn, and Bullard is not big. He's 5'10",
no.
198. He's not a big dude. He's got
some boys just know how to thump, man.
They know how to thump, dog.
So I'm stoked for him.
Yeah.
Cooper, like you said, I think we're gonna see more snaps out of him each game. You know, someone said that they like Cooper because they saw a lot of what they saw in Kuwait or something like that. I'm like, well, I hope that's not 100% the case.
What they were saying, right? Because when Quay's a rookie, he was just react and go. Like he didn't have this hesitation where he was questioning himself and all this and that, right? And you're definitely seeing that now with like Edgerrin Cooper is just playing with his hair on fire. I think that's what they were trying to say. Because every year Quay is supposed to be getting better and he's getting worse, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about that. Once the game gets in your head and you start second guessing yourself. Yeah. I hope he figures it out, man. I hope Quay really figures it out here. Otherwise, like you said, maybe some weak side action for him. But we'll see. Any other thoughts? Maybe it doesn't have to be a rookie. Any of our 2-year guys, right? We got a lot of 2-year guys on the roster. Any of those second-year guys either popping out in your head, having a bigger impact?
Tucker Kraft
looked
great, man. He looks fiery, and if you look at snaps alone, he had like 72% of the snaps, and Musgrave had 29. So, as we were talking about before, I think Tucker Kraft is your number 1 tight end.
Yeah, I think so too. Musgrave's going to be that field stretcher.
Yeah.
You're probably going to see some times of like you could probably see Musgrave like in the slot when you're in the spread.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that gets used out. But Tucker he's a Swiss Army knife at that tight end position. Of course, we got to shout out Jaden Reed in the game that young man had.
Oh, God, man. 100%, yes.
Dang, man. If we would have won that game, that would have been the Jaden Reed game.
He should have had 3-touchdown game, Bernie. He should have had 3-touchdown game. They called that one back on some bull crap because, first off, I don't know why the hell you subbing Musgrave out. You're not supposed to be doing that when you're trying to go 12 men on the field. That's the first thing, right? But I'm like, it just do. There's times where Musgrave, there's times where they call timeout, and they're like, I see Jordan like literally going to Musgrave and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
And Musgrave's trying to explain himself, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna say something kind of hot takey, but I feel like Musgrave's like really good looking guy, really well built and everything, but he dumb as rocks. I just don't think it's there, dog, because he just comes off as aloof.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just get that feel. Maybe someone proves me wrong and tells me he's a 4.0 grade point average in college or something, then I'll shut up, right? But I just feel like sometimes some of these assignments that he'd be missing up. Like even the interception that Jordan Love had, a part of me was like, that's Love because of bad throws. I don't know why you're throwing that in triple coverage. But then also with Musgrave, where I'm like, why aren't you cutting off the route? That was a first down right there. And so again, I don't know what the play calls. I don't know what the play design is, but it just looked like a mistake on both of them. There was a couple of times that he went his way where I'm like, dude, Jordan, like he's triple covered. What are you doing, dog? Like, no, like I know that maybe that's what the play design is. He's the first, second progression. Go to your third or something. But I get it, man. Offensive line didn't get into their groove until maybe the second half. So it was tough for him to kind of trust that. And his feet were all jacked up too because of the surface. So
yeah. And one last thing from the comments section here. Soda says LVN needs more reps.
Yes. Agreed. He had 19. They get 19 snaps. And it's like, that's your first round pick from last year. I'm like, and every time I saw him on the field, he was making a play. He was either stopping a run for a short gain. He was chasing down Jalen Hurts. I would have had him out there a lot more. I mean, don't get me wrong. Preston looked like he played well too. Preston played well. I felt like Kiki couldn't get. I felt like JJ couldn't get any push on Lane Johnson. Like I felt like he kept getting ate up. And I would have had LVN out there. Rashawn had some moments. Rashawn I felt like could have had he could have had even a bigger game because he went for that sack. He got that sack, right? If he had just punched that ball, because that ball's right there, man. If he had punched that ball, that's a sack fumble. That's a sack fumble recovery right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope we see a lot more of LVN as well. I think especially when we get to more mobile, like more pocket passing quarterbacks. You gotta get LBN in there, man. He's gonna create absolute chaos. But looking forward to this next week. Just some quick thoughts.
Yeah.
In this Packers Colts matchup.
I think the biggest thing is Anthony Richardson. You gotta understand you're facing another Jalen Hurts who's probably twice his size. Anthony Richardson's like 6'3", 6'4", 250 pounds, all muscle, and he runs fast as hell. He runs hell of a lot faster than Jalen Hurts. And he has a howitzer for an arm. He can throw any throw anywhere on the field, right?
Yeah.
And we are going to need to make sure that we did a good job of containing Saquon for the most part. I feel like in the second half, so we kind of let up because they were tired. But the truth is, like, you might need to do the same game plan. Contain Anthony Richardson, make him beat you, and then just do everything you can to stop Jonathan Taylor. And that's on defense. And on offense, stick to the run. Do not give up. Establish the run. Stick to the run. Run play action off of it. But this is not a game that you come out throwing 4 wide, 5 wide at all.
Yeah. I hope we don't see that unless absolute desperation.
Something crazy. Yeah, exactly.
Like we have 17 seconds to get in field goal range.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Grind the ball out. I want to see Jacobs and Wilson just grinding the ball out. Give me a couple jet sweeps. Give me some RPOs with Malik Willis. Yep. Just get really creative with that offense. Maybe a trick play in there. Didn't we see what wide receiver threw a pass for us last year? Was it Dontavian Wicks?
Yeah, Dontavian threw a pass to who did he throw it to? He threw it. Yeah.
But
left-handed ball. He threw left-handed ball. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing something like that on offense.
Yeah.
Be creative, but also at the same time, be smart. Don't turn the ball over. Really pick and choose your time when you take those shots. Don't be over eager to take shots. I really liked what you said too. If you're just getting 2 or 3 first downs each drive and it ends with a field goal attempt or trying to pin them down deep, play a field possession game if we have to. As for the defense, I know Richardson threw a 1 pick last week. We're gonna need 1 or 2 this week.
Yep.
Maybe even 3 turnovers to have a shot at this game.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna, me, I like to pick. I'm gonna pick the Colts in this one, but I think if Packers can force 3 turnovers just like they did against the Eagles, that will give them a shot in this game as well. So it rests on turning us. It's just turnover batter. I can't. Turnover battle.
I get what you're saying, baby. You good, man.
Win that turnover battle.
That's it.
And I think we got a shot.
100%.
But yeah, before we get into our last words, my second to last words are: make sure you go check out Tundra Town Clothing Company, fantastic apparel, a small locally owned apparel company in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Find them at tundratownclothingco.etsy.com. Use our discount code GameOnWisconsin, GameOnWe. tundratownclothingco.etsy.com. Go check it out, man. 100% cotton. Very comfortable, great fit, fun trucker hats. I know they got some other stuff there too. I got to get one of those can koozies. One of those legendary can koozies. That's what I'm going to get next. But just want to share a special thank you to them. Really appreciating our partnership there we have with Tundra Town. Over though, man. Before we jump off the air for the night and go enjoy the rest of this, what's shaping up, I've taken a quick peek here at that 7-6 Jets Niners game. Before we go enjoy that rest of that Monday night game, man. Last words.
Man, I think for me, last words I'm seeing is just like, I think one of the reasons why Coach LaFleur has not gotten like a lot of love for Coach of the Year is because, you had Aaron Rodgers, they didn't want to give him kind of credit for him turning that team around last year. If he can come out of this thing winning a couple games with Malik Willis and turning that thing around, in turning around his career and his trajectory and allow him to finish this season with us making the playoffs and making some noise, there's no way why he cannot be, coach of the year based on that alone.
Yeah. I love that. I'm there with you. If we can find, say if Love misses the next two, and we go 1-1 with Malik Willis, all I say is if Malik wins one of those two games, and we go on to make a Super Bowl run or make the playoffs, this is just another. It could be a piece of like looking back at the season and thinking there was criticism around that Malik Willis trade. Like, that was weird. Why are we doing this? But if he can go out there and win one game, and then this team goes and wins a division crown afterwards, or just gets a wild card and makes the playoffs, it's something to celebrate, man. And he's going to feel like a big part of this team. I hope the guys, I think the team that we have, the coaching staff we have, the guys are going to rally around Malik this week in practice. They're going to really lift him up. I know they probably got an extra day or two off with the day of travel and stuff in there. So that's what I'm looking for, man, is rally around this team. Let's see this offense play to Malik's strengths, grind the ball out. I would love to see, right? Maybe he comes and he wins 2 games for us. Love comes back. We have a fantastic season, and all of a sudden we turn a 7th-round draft pick on Malik Willis. Who knows? He wins a couple ball games and looks good doing it. Maybe he's a piece that we trade, or I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm just trying to throw some love to Malik Willis. I'm gonna have some faith and some hope in this team. Those are my last words. I'm gonna remain optimistic. I got faith in LaFleur and in this staff to be game ready for our home opener against the Colts.
Hell yeah, man. I cannot wait. I am so ready for it. Get a game opener. I'm holding out hope that Jordan's going to play. If he doesn't, Malik Willis time. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm ready to go chill out. I'm actually getting ready to rearrange my studio here, and I'm ready to watch some football. And just want to thank everyone for dropping in tonight, and go say your prayers for your healing prayers for Jordan Love. Y'all know I'll definitely be saying mine, and but other than that, we'll be back for a post game show next Sunday, and then of course we'll be back on Monday for our normal times as well. Other than that, go Pack, go.
Go Pack, baby.